Hey there, I'm Mark. Welcome to my studio. Hope you're having an excellent day. Oh, and happy holidays if you're watching this video at about the time it releases. It's almost the Christmas season here, and so my Gunpla tree has made its annual reappearance here in the studio. This video is not about that, but I just noticed it's in the shot, so I wanted to wish you a happy holiday season. If you're watching this in the future and there's no holidays going on right around the time that you're watching it, I hope you're having a great day anyway. All right. Let's get to today's topic, which is not this tree. It's the wall here behind the tree. So I think some of you have been waiting for quite some time for me to make this video. I've kind of teased it. You've seen this wall behind me in my videos and my live streams and stuff. And I've been talking about the fact that I wanted to share all of the files that you would need to be able to print a display like this for yourself. Today they're finally ready. So yeah, we can make this video. So here we go. This wall itself is based on a system called the Honeycomb Storage Wall, not designed by me. If you search on your favorite website for downloading 3D printable files, and you just search for Honeycomb Storage Wall, or sometimes just HSW, people abbreviate it that way, you'll find the wall panels themselves plus tons of accessories that people have designed that snap into these hexagons. So kind of from looking at what people have designed for this thing, I think most people are probably using it as a storage system in like a makerspace or, for tools or next to their computer, for storing cables and extra keyboards and mice and things like that. And that's all fine. For me, as soon as I saw it, I thought, hey, that would make a really cool art installation for, displaying Gunpla kits. And so I wanted to build something based on the Honeycomb Storage Wall system that would allow me to put my kits up on the wall, basically. And the one thing that kind of bugged me about it is the typical setup for this Honeycomb Storage Wall is that there are big rectangular panels that you print that have the hexagon shapes in them. Then you can fit them together to fill up whatever big rectangular space you want to have on your wall. I didn't want mine to be a big rectangular space. I wanted, first of all of this stuff on the wall was already here. So these LED things and the Gunpla Gallery logo and stuff was already here. And so I wanted to work around that, and I wanted it to be kind of a more interesting shape like what you see here. And so I was going to have to design kind of my own custom panels to be able to fit that space until I found somebody else had already done this for me. There is a version of the wall panel that you can download that is a hexagon. So it's a hexagon shape made up of little hexagons. And when I printed one of these samples, what I realized is that this thing actually, just by chance, happens to be almost exactly the same size as these light up panels that I had on the wall already. And so this was excellent, and as soon as I realized that, I was like, hey, I could fit this and kind of mirror that shape, and it'll be perfect. And it was. So all that you see here on the wall is basically a bunch of these hexagon panels fit together with a few little spacers that I had to custom design here and there to kind of fill out the space. Like wherever we have a straight edge, obviously those aren't hexagons. They are, but there's a little half hexagon put in between to create that straight edge. So there were a few places where I took this panel and I sliced it in all the appropriate places and then printed a one-off version that would fill out a space basically. But mostly it's these hexagons, and wherever they meet up, wherever there's two or more of them together, on those corners we have these little parts that also are part of the Honeycomb Storage Wall system that you can print that snap in to hold these plates together. The nice thing, I have an example of one of them right here. The nice thing is they also have a countersunk hole in them so that once you get the whole plate all put together in one piece, you can then mark a few of these holes on the wall. And all I did was I drilled in and I put drywall anchors in and then just screwed these things straight into the wall. And so they're nice and sturdy, right? I can grab this thing and put basically my whole weight pulling down on this thing. It's not coming off the wall. So I'm not worried about my kits falling or anything like that. It's nice and securely fastened on there. And then once you get the plate on the wall, all that's left is, figuring out what you want to snap into it to, normally it's to hang cables or have shelving to store things or whatever. In my case, it's these custom designed little brackets that I'm printing. There's one printing right now, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. But you print and you build these little custom brackets. They can come in different sizes depending on the size of kit that you're trying to attach onto the wall there. And all they have are these two hexagon attach points on the on the ends of each of the arms. And so once you figured out where you want to put this, you just attach it in and you just press it in place, and it just snaps in there. I'm not going to press it all the way in. We'll press it in long enough or hard enough for it to stay for now. But yeah, you snap that all the way in. They are removable, so if I want to reconfigure the wall, I can do that. And I actually probably will do that quite often in the future, because kits are going to move kind of on and off of here as I work on them and do other things. So it's nice to be able to rearrange things as needed. And yeah, they're nice and sturdy on here. And there's a couple of different attachment points that we can print depending on what the action-based attachment style is for the kit that you're trying to display. I've tried to cover the most of the most common cases right now, but I know especially with older kits, they have weird ways sometimes of attaching onto action bases. So I may have to create some additional adapters. And actually, if you're using this system and you need a custom adapter that I didn't provide, let me know. Reach out either in a comment on this video or on my profile at printables.com and let me know. I'd be happy to try to design something that'll work with whatever kit you're trying to display, or design your own and share it back to the system. That's perfectly fine as well. So yeah, the plan for today is to print a bunch of these, probably this larger size one, because most of the kits I still have yet to go up here are 1/100 scale kits, and so this larger size arm typically works better for those. So I've got one printing right now on the printer. As soon as it's done printing, I'm going to pull that off the printer. We'll take it over to the build desk, and I'll show you how to assemble one of these. It's fairly simple. It all snaps together, but there are a couple little tricks that I wanted to show you. And then I'm going to try, as I'm working on this video and editing it and stuff for the rest of the day, I'm going to print as many of these arms as possible, and hopefully it'll be enough that I can grab all of the kits. I have kits everywhere here in the studio. You can't see them because I try to keep them out of the camera shots whenever I make videos. But basically every horizontal space that's here, any shelf or the top of a shelving unit or whatever, has at least one or two kits lying on it that are waiting to go up here on the wall. And so hopefully by the end of today, by the end of this video, we will have enough of these things printed and assembled that I can get all of those kits up here on the wall. It'll look amazing, and also I will have a whole lot more space here in my studio to fill up with other projects that I'm working on. So yeah, that's the plan. As soon as this is done printing, we'll take a look at how to assemble this, and then I'll try to get as many of these done as possible and get things up on the wall today. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so to build one of our display arms, we need these parts here. These just came off the printer, and this is everything you need, although there are some options, so I'm going to talk about those as we go along here. First of all of these are designed to print in place in the orientation that they come in the STLs without needing any supports or anything, but this piece here that is the kind of the final attach point for your Gundam kit, I do usually print it with a brim because it prints standing up like this, and yeah, just for better bed adhesion, I usually print it with a brim. So, which I think my slicer just did by default based on the size of this part. So I'm going to pull that brim off, and actually just to make sure that it fits really well, I'm going to use my little deburring tool here and go ahead, and that's a little hard to do actually on a small size piece like this. I'm going to take that edge off just to make sure that it snaps in to our piece that we're going to press it into in a minute, and that's going to be, it's meant to be a nice tight fit because we don't want it falling out, but with that little edge there, it might have been too tight. So yeah, so there we go. So I'll arrange these kind of as we are going to assemble them, just so you understand how this fits together. First of all, you're going to need 2 of these arm pieces. Now I've provided 4 different sizes. So these 2 here are the 2 middle sizes. There's one that's even smaller than this one, and there's one that's even bigger than this one as far as length. And the lengths are measured from the centers of the holes on either ends. So they are 40 millimeters, this one is 60 millimeters, this one's 100 millimeters, and then there's a 120 millimeter version as well. What I tend to print for 1/100 scale kits, which is mostly what I'm going to be hanging today, is one of the 60 millimeters and one of the 120 millimeters. And basically, you're going to want probably 2 different sized arms rather than 2 of the same size. What you're trying to do is make a triangle like this, right? So the bottom of the display wall will be down this way, and you want your long piece coming up at an angle, and then your shorter one coming almost straight out from the wall. And then this piece here will attach there, with our attachment point for our Gundam in the end of it, like that. This piece needs one of these little round pegs to snap it into place, and then these other 2 pegs, or these other 2 pairs of pegs, are going to be used to attach these hexagon pieces kind of like that and like that onto the other ends of these arms. So hopefully that makes sense as far as what you need to print. So what you need in the end is 5 of these little round pegs, 1 of the attachment ones that goes to the attachment point for your kit, whichever one of these pieces that you need depending on the kit that you're building. This one is a 5mm square hole, which is typical for most modern Bandai Master Grades and 1/100 scale kits. They have a piece that usually fits up under their crotch that then slides down into this, and that works. The other really common one is a 3mm peg, and that's typically used for 1/144 scale kits, SD kits, things like that. They'll have a 3mm hole on them somewhere. So there's a version of this that has the same bottom half, but just a 3mm peg up here where this square opening would be. And that one works well for those smaller kits. So you need 1 of those, and then you need 2 of these hexagon attach points to plug it into the wall, and then, like I said, 2 different sized arms. So how this works is these pegs are designed to snap fit together, and this might be a printing exercise to make sure that you've got your printer settings dialed in just perfectly, because the tolerances are very precise. I print these with a 0.4mm nozzle just with my default settings on my Voron printer, and they work really great. But like I said, for you might have to dial your settings in or make some small adjustments. But the idea is you want these things to press fit together. They're the same part, but if you turn one of them 90 degrees from the other, they fit together just like this. And then you can slide them together and pinch them nice and tight, and they'll snap together. I'm not going to do that right now because we want other parts in between them. But that's the way that it works. They just push together and snap fit. And they actually can be removed as well once you get them fully fit together. But only a couple times, right? Because the plastic starts to degrade over time as you snap fit them and try to take them apart. So I would recommend probably just fitting them together and leaving them that way, or maybe just removing them like once or twice. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to overlap this thing. These holes have little edges. They're not perfectly round circles. I don't know if the camera picks that up or not. Yeah, there's little scallop edges there, and those are to provide the ratcheting mechanism that we need to be able to position things. So the orientation of these parts as you put them together doesn't really matter, because you're going to be able to rotate them around pretty well once you've got it together. So what you want to do is fit that up in that hole, and then fit it through the other half here. And again, the angle here doesn't matter. We can just get it lined up with the hole is the main thing. And then you take one of these and you make sure it's rotated 90 degrees from the pegs that are on the opposite side, and you just push it together here, and you give it a nice hard squeeze, and it snaps into place. I don't know if the microphone picked up that snap, but now we have this, and if you're careful, you don't want to break the pegs, but you can move them like this, and you get this, it like stops at different angles for you. So that's that. Then we take these 2 parts and do the same thing with pairs of pegs with those. Now, one thing to definitely be careful of, you'll see how this is kind of offset, right? So if I look at this from the top, this arm is a bit more that way, this arm is a bit more this way. These hexagons also have their little attach point here is slightly off center. So you want to orient them so that like this one is on this side, so that it's on this side of this arm, because then it lines up with the other arm. And you want this one flipped the other way so that it's going to be on this side of this arm, because that way when the 2 of them are attached, they will line up correctly this way, so that when you plug them into the wall, that it works. I hope that makes sense. I think you'll figure it out once you kind of start to put them together. But like if we put this on the wrong side of here and we put this on the wrong side of here, then when we tried to plug this into the wall, they wouldn't be lined up with each other, and the whole thing would want to twist and flex, and that would be bad. So anyway, we put this one this way, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll probably speed up the footage a bit here so you don't have to watch me kind of wrestle with positioning these things just right. It is a little bit fiddly, but it's not that hard, right? And you just want to get this lined up here. If I can do it. Yeah. And then once you get it lined up, you just squeeze it together till it snaps. Just like that. And then you have that. All right, so I'm going to do the other one of those, and then I'm going to press this into this hole. And again, this is made to be very tight fitting. So I may have to use the deburring tool a little bit more to kind of trim the edge of this because of that brim that we had. I'm pretty sure I will. So I'll, again, probably speed up the footage here for you so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do that. But the idea is you want this to be a nice tight fit. It will rotate in there so that you can get the angle you need as far as the rotation of the kit, but you don't want it falling out either. So I wouldn't trim this too much. I would just trim it enough so that it fits in there nice and tight, and yeah, then we're ready to go. So we're back here at the display wall. We have our arm that we just built. Yeah, it's ready to go. So I'm going to put a kit up on the wall and show you how that works. In a decision I'm probably likely to regret very soon, because this guy has such big wings, it's a little bit hard to manage. But I found my tall geese flugel here, and I'm thinking that, you know, with its wings, it needs to be here at the top of the tree, right? Totally makes sense. So what we're going to do is try to put this up here on the wall, kind of behind and above the tree. Before we put the kit on the wall, we need to figure out how to attach the kit onto the display arm, right? And so most kits come with some sort of action-based adapter. This particular one comes with this little piece here, which snaps up under the crotch and is designed to fit, or this piece here is designed to fit around that. So the first thing I have to do is just line this up and press this piece into there. There are actually two ways you could have done that, right? You could have put this piece on the kit first and then tried to push the whole kit down onto the display arm. I found that that is difficult to get it lined up and for you to see everything. I think it's easier to put the attachment piece on here first and then snap the kit down over the top of it. And then the second thing I'm going to do, again, trying to negotiate these large wings, is figure out where along the wall I want to put this, and then I can hold this up, kind of figure out positionally where this should go. So yeah, I think that these two spots here on the wall will work. And then all that is left to do is just to line these hexagons up. And I try to get both of them sort of partially inserted and lined up first, and then we'll just shove them into the wall just like that. Alright, cool. And both of them are nice and solidly in there now. Again, we can, I use a part separator to pry them away from the wall and pull them out if I need to, when I need to move them around. You probably could just use your fingers and do it, but they are a very tight fit, which is good. That's what you want, so that this is not falling off the wall. And then, given that that is ready to go, all that should be left to do is to try to line this up and snap this down over that connector part. Yeah. And then, like I said, once it's on the wall, it's a whole lot easier to pose it, right? So we can now, you know, move stuff around and do whatever we need to do. Yeah, and I can give him his weapons loadout again if I'd like. And that's, like I said, I think easier to do once you get it up on the wall, especially with a kit like this that has lots of things sticking out from it in lots of different directions. But anyway, so there's our first kit for the day, newly up on the wall, and I'm going to just go and print a bunch more of these arms, assemble them. You don't need to see that. It's the same process over and over again. I'll get as many more of these kits that are around the studio up on the wall as possible, and then at the end, hopefully at the end of today, however far I've gotten, I'll film a little bit more of a clip to just kind of close this out, show you how far we got and how many kits are up on the wall and what it looks like. All right, we've done it. You're back. You didn't go anywhere. I'm back. It's been about 8 hours since I last talked to the camera. In that time, I've been printing out more of these display arms and getting everything up here on the wall. I think it looks pretty amazing. I've got a little bit of extra space back here in the corner that I haven't yet filled in. So there is still some room to kind of shift things around or even add additional kits. I've used up all the ones that were laying around here in the studio, which is excellent. So now I have a whole lot more space on my shelves and stuff, which is great. Yeah, overall I'm real happy. I'm especially happy that big kits like this Infinite Dimension Genesis here, it fits on here fine. I was a little concerned as I was hanging it on the display arm to just, not sure if it was going to be perfectly stable and good. It is, it's fine. So I have no concerns about any of these kits, the big ones, the small ones, all of them hanging here and being nice and secure and good. Like I said earlier, this will probably change over time as I work on different projects. I'll be adding and removing kits and moving stuff around. So you can watch in future videos with the backdrop behind me, because this will always probably be in the shot, sort of see it change over time and see what I do with it. But this, I think, is a really, really good start. So I'm happy with it. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the project. If you think I could have done anything different or better, let me know that too. It'd be cool to hear your thoughts. And also, if you make anything like this or inspired by this, find me on social media. I'm Gunpla Mark pretty much everywhere. And send me photos. I'm curious to see if other people take these ideas and do cool things with them. Other than that, I guess all that's left to say is if you've watched this far, definitely I'd appreciate it if you leave a like on the video because it helps spread it to more people that way. And there's nothing else for me to say other than thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.